All right. So when you look at my slide, we're talking about adverbs. All right. Now the question is, what are adverbs? Adverbs tell us more about the verb and the adjectives. And one important thing that I'd like all of us to note, do not worry about these big words like, as long as you understand how they are used, because in as far as exam is concerned, they'll never ask you the definition thereof. They'll actually ask you the content related to it. Right. Now, these adverbs are divided into 4 categories. We have adverbs of time. They show us, they tell us when, okay? They tell us about when something will happen, okay? And it can be anytime. It can be 5 minutes ago, a while ago, yesterday, tomorrow, earlier on, right now, tonight, or soon, okay? And I know very well that you do use these things, you do use these adverbs, but in your mind, they are not formal. It's just normal talking. That's what language is all about. Okay. The second one, it's it's an adverb of time. Okay. Adverb of time. Oh, we're done with time. Sorry. An adverb of place. If you look at the slide here, I hope you can see it over here. It show you where the activity is happening. Okay. It's telling you that where. It can be upstairs, it can be downstairs, it can be by the pool, it can be at the playing field, or anywhere else. It tells you more about the place where an activity is happening. All right. Then we have an adverb of manner. I hope you can see it here, this slide. The adverb of manner is telling us how something happens. And what is of interest to note is that adverbs of a manner, the suffix, though the ending of those words, they have ly. Okay. For instance, you can say the old man was walking painfully, or I saw him. I looked at him helplessly. Or you can say, I am secretly working hard because I want to pass my grade 9. Okay, so when you look at these are not like foreign things. These are words that you use every day. That is why from the beginning I said to you, you know, these parts of speech are merely building blocks. We usually use them daily, but we are not formalizing them and structuring them. Okay, so this is an opportunity of formalizing them and structuring them. Okay, right. Then we have an adverb of extent. Okay, the degree or how far the whole thing happens or an incident happens. Okay, so you can say, I was extremely frightened. Okay, or you can say, this is an incredibly beautiful idea. Okay, so those are adverbs. Let me give you a moment, maybe, to use a few of these adverbs in your own words. I'll give you a minute. All right. I hope you are done. More of these adverbs are on this slide over here. We have furthermore extra examples. For instance, you can say the sea turtle gently covered. Remember, I said the suffix is always ly. Most of the time, it's ly. Okay. So here we have adverbs of manner, like examples: beautifully, delicately, firmly, happily. I mean, if you look at these, you most certainly use them almost every day of your lives. Maybe today, some of you used these, but you are not even aware that actually it's an adverb of manner. Okay, let's come to the second one, adverb of place. An example here is the sea turtles lay their eggs close to the previous year's nest. All right. So it is telling us where the incident happened. Okay. It's giving us a clear idea exactly where something happened. All right. Then we also have adverbs of degree, the an extent. All right. So here we have examples like completely, entirely, extremely, occasionally. This is not something very difficult. It's something that you know, okay? For instance, you can also create your own words, okay, with adverbs of degree. Another one is adverb of time. Yeah, here we have extra examples on this, like afterward, early, later, a while ago, like I gave you. All right. So look at them and jot down a few of them, and you can use them in whatever sentence. Or you may actually take any document. Okay. It may not necessarily be a school document. It can be anything. A magazine, a newspaper, and you start to underline, because when we teach these parts of speech, we do not want you to dissociate everyday spoken and written language from these. Okay, so the best way of reminding yourselves is understanding the definitions, how they are used, and you identify them in context. For example, you can take a newspaper article or a book or a magazine. Then you say, okay, today I just want to underline all the adverbs. And after underlining them, I now categorize them in different levels. For instance, manner, place, degree, and time. That's exactly what you should do. Not only should you do it with adverbs, you must do it with all parts of speech, because most paragraphs encompasses almost all parts of speech. Okay. Have you captured? Can we continue? All right. Let's go to the next slide. The next slide will be conjunctions, unless there is anyone who would like to ask about adverbs, but I think we are done with them. Okay, conjunctions. Conjunctions are joining words. They join words, they join phrases, they join clauses. Okay? And you do not have to worry about the definition of the word conjunction. As long as you understand that these words are conjunctions and they can be used in sentences and they join more than one sentence, because most of our young people, they start their sentences with a conjunction. Remember, if, because of I said a conjunction is a joining word, you are not supposed to start a word with a conjunction. I've had in numerous occasions where you see children, when you speak to them, when you say, why did you do, why did you play outside when it's cold or when it's not safe to do so? Children will start by saying, because, you see. So you're not supposed to do that, because that is not right. Okay, you should, a conjunction, you should use it appropriately, not at the beginning of a sentence. All right. All right. So some of the conjunctions that we have here are over here on this slide. I hope you can see. The others are these ones: since, yet, and, for, until, but, because, however. You see, here comes because. Learners, I do not know why do they do this. They always like to use because wrongly. All right. Right. Now, with conjunctions, we have three types of conjunctions. All right. The first type is coordinating conjunctions. Yesterday I was a bit fast. I want to take my time today. It's coordinating conjunctions. I hope you are writing somewhere. The second type is subordinate conjunctions. Subordinate conjunctions. The third one, correlative conjunctions. All right. Coordinating conjunctions. You do not have to worry about the definition thereof. Okay. Then what can make life easy for yourselves is this mnemonic. And I hope you can see it. Fan voice. Okay. These are things that can actually help you to remember. Maybe let me give you a few seconds to be able to write them down. All right. I hope you're done. So I must emphasize that with conjunctions, you do not start a sentence with a conjunction. It does not make any sense. It won't make any sense. Okay. Here are a few examples of a sentence. You can say, John stayed home for he was sick. So you have used the F of the fanboys. Okay. Can you imagine if you could say John stayed home? Oh, I do not I do not have a good example where I can make an error. But anyway, the most important thing for is just joining the word John stayed home. And when you say for he was sick, it's actually giving you the reason why he stayed home. Okay. The second example, we use A here. We can think of an example that says, John and Mary laughed. All right. Because when you say John Mary laughed, it's like someone else's name is John and his surname is Mary. So you see now the conjunction is actually giving you a very, very clear idea that these are two people who laughed. The third one, I have never said yes, nor will I say yes. Okay. The next one, it's sad but true that corona exists. So with these fanboys, all you can do is to identify them either by writing your own sentences or taking your novel or a storybook, identify a paragraph and underline them or highlight them. It depends on what you'd like to see happening. Okay. Then another example, do you want to eat or drink anything? The other one, John smiled, yet he was not amused. So do you see that I've actually given you examples using all the fanboys? So please ensure that you write these fanboys. They'll actually help you to do well, to remember and do well. Let's go to this slide. These are conjunctions. You see, it's and or. Tried to make it very interesting for you. These are common conjunctions, and we always make a mistake of starting a sentence with them. You see, you often hear people say, and he went to school. Others would say, or I want it, or I want play with you. You're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to ensure that when you use conjunctions, you do not use them at the beginning of a sentence. So that one, it's a no, no, no. You cannot just afford to do such a huge error. Just want to see. Can we start the sentence by a conjunction, boys and girls? I expect the answer should be no. It cannot be, because it's incorrect. Okay, let's go to our next slide. The next category is subordinating conjunctions. Do not worry about these big, big words. We are not an English home language class. Okay. So here are a few sentences. Here, these ones, you can actually use them in sentences. Okay. You can use this in sentences. For instance, you can use because, but obviously you cannot start by the word because. All right. Example, I took an umbrella because it was raining. When you look at this sentence, you realize that when you use the conjunction because, you're actually looking for a reason. You're actually answering the question, why? And you're actually giving the reason. I took it. Why? Why did you take it? Because it was raining. Another example, he was working very hard while they were on lockdown. Actually, I think that's exactly what you guys are doing. You see, the first sentence here is he was working very hard. It makes sense. The second sentence, they were on lockdown. Okay, so the joining word in this case is while. All right, the joining word is while. The next example, ever since she left her school, she is miserable. So our conjunction here is since. Now try to use your own sentences. Try to use or write your own sentences using the remaining conjunctions. For instance, these ones. Please do not use the ones that I have used. I'll give you a minute, and you do not have to take each and every one. You just have to take a few, then you write. You can take one from each block. You can take one from each block. Then you form your own sentence. Remember, you are supposed to join two ideas or two supporting ideas that support one another, or two different ideas. You are joining two sentences or clauses or phrases. So I'll give you maybe 30 seconds or so, because time is not much on our side. 30 seconds. Okay. I hope you wrote a few sentences for yourself. I hope you wrote a few sentences. Okay, let's go to the next slide. The next slide is actually giving you more of these conjunctions. It's giving you more of these conjunctions that you can either identify in a script or a book or a magazine. I hope you've done it. Right. The next slide is correlative conjunctions. From the word to correlate, you're talking about putting things together. However, do not worry about what correlation means. What is important is correlative conjunctions are those conjunctions that are always in pairs. They are always in pairs. All right. Let us look at the examples that are given to us here. She played both hockey and basketball when she was a student. So do you see that even the order of these pairs must make sense? Because can you imagine if you could say she played and hockey, both basketball? You see, if you don't get the order right, the sentence will not make any sense. Okay? The second example is I will eat either carrots or peas for dinner. The third example, Natalie likes neither milk nor cream cake. Okay. The next example, do you care whether we have noodles or rice? The next one, scarcely had she finished reading when she fell asleep. The last one, no sooner did he enter the room than he saw a snake. So I think that if you can remember this, that both goes with and, either goes with or, neither goes with no, whether goes with or, not only but also are a pair. Scarcely goes with when. No sooner goes with than. Okay, so I hope you have seen that the exceptions, you remember we said you cannot start with a conjunction, but this type is the only exception. I mean, if you look at this one, not only, okay, and the other one, scarcely, all right, and this one, no sooner, all right. So those are the only exceptions to the rules, but generally, this is exactly how it goes. Okay, let me give you a few moments so that, oops, let me give you a few moments so that you must write these ones. Both goes, both and, either or, neither, nor.
Hi, Mr. Mogale.
Yes,
Sorry
sir.
to bother. There's a question that if you could explain the use of no sooner in the last example.
Oh, no sooner. Okay, let me just go back to that slide. Okay. This one, no sooner did he enter the room than he saw the snake. You referring to that one, or should I use another example of no sooner?
I think if that is the example you use, then yeah, that's what the question is all about.
Okay, no, thank you. Okay, so it's no sooner did he enter the room than he saw a snake. Okay, so remember, these are the only exceptions, but generally, conjunctions, you cannot just start a sentence using them. I hope this will help. Then let's go to the next slide. The next slide is prepositions. Okay. Prepositions. In the center here, I gave a definition that prepositions are small words that connect pronouns and nouns to sentences. Furthermore, prepositions show directions. Okay, they show directions. Okay, we can get a few examples. Here I've given you a few. You can say she is sitting under a shade, or he is sitting, or John is sitting next to. Okay, or there is something interesting between these two items. Okay, and you can also use besides. Okay, so When you look at all these examples, you realize that they can be categorized differently. Okay? So, let's look at our next slide and see how they can be grouped. Okay? So, we have prepositions of time, we have prepositions of place, we have prepositions of direction. Okay? I hope you have you're busy noting.
Mr. Mogale, we have 4 minutes left.
Oh, okay. Example
I'll
of
give you another 2 additional minutes, so don't worry.
oh, okay. I'm beginning to enjoy this thing now. Okay, but then okay, right. We've got prepositions of time, of place, and direction. All right. Now, oops. All right. So here, when you say grandpa started snoring during the movie, it's a preposition of what? I think you're going to say time, because it tells us exactly when this incident happened. Okay, you can use any of the above. Okay, you can use any of the above. You'll realize that they are categorized exactly in these 3 portions: time, place, and direction. Unfortunately, we have reached the end of our lesson. I hope that you have enjoyed it. I hope that you have learned a thing or two from my presentation. However, tomorrow we'll wrap it up and start with figure of speech. Okay, so may you keep safe. Do not go to the street. The COVID virus is real. People are dying. Take care of yourselves and others. And let's see each other tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Thank you. Bye-bye.